5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Welcome in to the Patrick Johnson Show. A taste of summer today. Even here at the Working Man's Beach, it's hot. Hot. Back in, thanks to Philip the Ref Pilkington for filling in yesterday. And he had my dad, the coach, on. A lot of you enjoyed that, so I really appreciate it. I know he did too, talking basketball. Pilk, I told him that we need to get him set up with his own kind of setup. We could video bring him in to be on the station and all that. That's how much that's what I told him. Now he sort of chuckled and blew it off. A lot of news to get to today. Of course, the Pirates winning on the diamond last night, 7 in a row at home. They held off Elon 7-5, led wire to wire, and Elon made it interesting late. We'll get to some audio as we can here this afternoon. Also, we have some portal news for you concerning ECU basketball on the women's side. And we're also going to have some other news of the day items for you. But we go right now to the phone lines in San Antonio, Texas. Head coach of the basketball Pirates is Mike Schwartz, who joins us on the phone. Coach, great to talk to you. Hope you're doing well.
Patrick, great to talk to you too. Sorry if it's a little loud here in San Antonio. Everything has gotten started with the Final Four, and there's a lot of people moving around, so I apologize for that, but great to talk to you.
Coach, what will you be doing out there, and what have you been doing out there since you got there midweek?
You know, I think I got here yesterday, and I think some of the things that go on here, I think obviously everyone thinks about the games and whatnot, but really for coaches, it is more their head coaches meetings, there's committees, a lot of things that you do as far as the game moving forward, and especially in today's climate, as you can imagine, PJ, with all the different things that have been added, whether it be NIL, revenue sharing, could be rules changes. So there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. And then you get a chance just to connect with maybe former coaches that you've worked with, you know, people that you don't get to see during the season that maybe, you know, you have been very close with, but you just don't get to see because of the nature of the business. And so really that's what it is for a couple of days, but it's a lot of meetings and a lot of how the game is moving forward more than anything. To be honest with you, most coaches get out before the games are actually played over the weekend, because I've always lived by this, that unless we're playing in the game, you don't really want to be there watching it.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of which, Tennessee, you know, very close to being there where you were before you were the head coach at ECU. Is Rick Barnes in town for these meetings? Or, you know, sometimes if coaches coach into that second weekend, they maybe don't show up at the Final Four for all the things you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, I think what happens is I think with a guy like Coach Barnes or any of these coaches that maybe are coming right off fresh being in the tournament, or, you know, maybe have done this for years upon years, I think they come in and they're in and out pretty quick. They might just come for the day just to do. They may
Gotcha.
have players that are being represented for different committees. Like, for example, Tennessee has 2 players, Jemai Mashak and Zakai Ziegler, that are up for the Defensive National Player of the Year award, and they'll do that ceremony. And so they may come in just to support their guys. And so there's a lot of that too. But, yeah, it really is a good overall experience for coaches and the college basketball community.
Mike Schwartz with us here live on the Patrick Johnson Show this afternoon, and we are talking basketball and ECU basketball. You mentioned, Coach, all of the discussions about the state of the game and where the game is headed. Of course, we're going to find out any time now. I believe Monday might be the first opportunity to find out about rev share and that decision, the House decision, and all of that. When you look at where the game is right now, and I know you've kind of jumped all in 2 feet in on, you know, we're in a world of quick transactions and literal transactions. When you look at that, though, what are the things that coaches are most concerned about right now? I mean, I think what we're hoping, those of us that, you know, feel like things have gotten a little wild, is that there might be some guardrails put in place. potentially. Not necessarily restricting anything. I don't know if we can go there and do that because there's no collective bargaining. But, just at least a blueprint from which to kind of work from.
Yeah, and I think it's obviously you're so well versed in professional sports and college sports, Patrick, that you understand this. And what you're saying is so true. And, there's a very open-ended question and a loaded question in terms of what are your concerns or as a coach or what are the main areas that you think about as this game moves forward. And it's what you said, because of the fact that there really aren't any guardrails or haven't been for the last couple of years as NIL came into place, as the transfer portal came into place, and then immediate eligibility came into place. And then on top of that, you put unlimited transfer. When you talk about those four things all coming together at once, no, there are no guardrails. You're driving down a narrow road with huge cliffs on both sides, and that's just what it is. And I do think everybody is hopeful, the leaders of the game, I think, including the NCAA, I think presidents, administrators, universities, all coming together to try and streamline this. I don't think the financial component is going anywhere but up, with the revenue share looking like it's going to take place here. As you mentioned, next week it'll probably become official and how that looks. But I think as a coach, Patrick, and I think the common sentiment would be here is that you have to embrace and have 2 feet in exactly where you're at with what the current landscape is. And there is there's no point to complain and say, wish it wasn't like it used to be. There's definitely a benefit to speaking, and that's what these Final Four and these committee meetings are about, because you get a group of potentially hundreds of coaches, whether it be Division I, Division II, Division III, assistant coaches, head coaches, getting together with some of the executive committee of college basketball and talking about different things that can help this game be better, stronger, and more consistent moving forward. Because the way it is now, Patrick, with just changing every year, teams, players changing every year, money, really nothing that's constricting how it is being spent. Like you said, no contracts, no collective bargaining. I just don't think it's sustainable moving forward, but you can't worry about it as a head coach. All you can do is be in the present moment and say what it is right now, the blueprint that's put in front of us, and how do we navigate that to build our program to the best of our ability. And for us, it's obviously at ECU.
So Mike Schwartz is with us here. The thing that is wild to me about the college game right now is you look at guys in the G League, and I was listening to a really fascinating show on this week where this topic was discussed. I mean, that's I think it's 100,000, is what a guy in the G League would, and that's probably, I don't know if that's the appropriate market value, but it doesn't feel like it's outrageous. And it obviously leaves the NBA as the ultimate goal to attain. In college, the market value is so out of whack right now. And it's going to be, because you do have boosters and you do have people involved who are, willing to give now that they can at a level of all costs. It just, that's the thing. I mean, even Tennessee probably overpaid for a guy this year out of the Colonial or out of the CAA who, didn't really live up to expectations. Now they're able to absorb that because they've, got pretty talented roster. But, there's a lot of inexact science in this, and then you have the bidding war component of it. I mean, your job description is a heck of a lot different than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I laughed when you said that, because you said a word that was really appropriate, an inexact science when it comes to all of the market value, because there is no standard right now, unfortunately. And, salary caps can maybe do that. Conferences can do that. Universities. There's a lot of different things that could in place. And to be honest with you, Patrick, it will have to happen at some point. It will have to. You cannot have 360 some odd teams competing for the same championship with that complete, utter discrepancy of whether it's finances / rules, so many things that we could sit here and we could do a whole show about this. But to your point about the market value and the G League, whether you want to say G League guys, and I don't know the numbers right now. I mean, if that's the number you heard, I really don't know what the minimum maximum in the G League is now. I have more of a feel in the NBA and what it is to be a young player in the NBA or getting called up and whatnot. But the numbers that you mentioned, if that's accurate, I mean, there's coaches out here talking about players making seven figures. I mean, you're talking 1 million, 2 million offered that. Yeah. And I've seen it and heard it firsthand. And what I mean by offered, being like, this is what, most of them have agents now, which is good. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But as far as some of the offers that are happening, as far as some of the potential ability to earn, in college, it well exceeds and we're like tenfold or more in a lot of cases what G League or potentially going and playing overseas is. Yeah. And there may be a really strong group of players like that. And there's more than you would imagine that are making that. I think where the issue really is going to make things very cloudy is when you're talking about guys potentially making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, and they are not considered the elite of the elite, because that is also going on there. And when you have this kind of money that some of these schools and conferences have, it's, as you said, that kind of money is going to be paid for guys that really aren't that level in terms of what their impact will be or statistically what you would think for that kind of money.
Coach Mike Schwartz joining us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. He's out in San Antonio for some of the coaches' meetings this week that surround and lead up to the Final Four. Coach, with that said, Garrett Blackwelder, ECU basketball alum, made a big commitment to NIL for basketball. I know some others have stepped up, some that maybe have traditionally not stepped up for basketball. So that's a real positive thing. The rules of the game are as they are, and we just, have said that. So in order to be a team that can compete in the American and be able to finish consistently in the top part of the American, that NIL budget needs to obviously increase over what it was last year. Here's the thing, and I mean, I'm not trying to put you on a spot or anything, and I'm going to brag on you a little bit here. I mean, you were in the weeds on a lot of guys. It came down to money. Now you're going to have a little more of a war chest. So I don't think it's a case of talent evaluation. It's a case of being able to head to the battle with a fully stocked war chest, or at least a well-stocked war chest.
Well, number one, our program, and I know we're so appreciative of everybody that helped us build our collective and have the ability to have a strong collective this past season, the Pirate Club, and just from everybody that helped, for obviously Team Boneyard, leading the way, to have the ability to do what we did. And when you talk about some of the players that we had this past season that were fortunate enough to earn NIL, we feel very fortunate about that and so thankful for that. And then that leads into, as you said, Garrett and the generosity that he has expressed and what he's doing and how that has spearheaded others to also continue. Because a lot of the people that have helped us this past season have jumped on board prior to Garrett's announcement, and then maybe even got more excited, and then others decided that, hey, there's positive momentum going here in terms of Team Boneyard and how that's allocated to them and for men's basketball and ECU athletics. And, it's one of those things that what you want is, it's like when the tide rises, all boats, elevate. That's what you want. When it goes up, everything goes up. And so that is what kind of we're excited about, that momentum coming off this year and going into next year. But as anything, and again, with revenue sharing, the whole pocket has gone up for everybody. Everybody's pocket has become deeper. So as we were last year, and now we have an influx, which has been really helpful in terms of our ability to try and determine where we will be going into next year, trying to make that assumption. We still don't know yet. And I think there's still been a lot of great gestures out there for people that want to continue to help. But I think every school in the conference and in the country is doing the same thing. And then you will add on top of that the revenue share, that however that model looks coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So, yes, what you said, you want to be able to go and go to battle and say, hey, we want to be – what we really want to be is we want to hopefully be in the top half of the league when it comes to that. That's your goal. It's not about necessarily being at the very top. We know there's some schools in our conference that regardless are going to have it, and that's okay. It's like that in every conference. That's business, that's competitive sports, that's normal. But when you can hopefully be in the top half, now what you have to do, your evaluation, your ability to look and do what we did with C.J. Walker and Jordan Riley this past year, retaining R.J. Felton, going into junior college with Jay Shane and Trevi and how they produced. I mean, we know C.J. Walker was a 7-point-a-game career player prior to him getting here, and he averaged 17 a game this year. And his career high prior to here was 8 points a game, and again, first-team all-conference, 17.7 rebounds this year. So, we talk about as a staff in terms of mindset, Patrick, it isn't just, hey, we need more money. No, it isn't that. I mean, obviously that's huge and it's beneficial,
Right.
But there is a mentality and approach, a blueprint like Moneyball, that great movie Moneyball, Jonah Hill, Brad Pitt, that is the mindset that we have as we go and evaluate this portal that has 1,600 kids in it, junior college, high school, international. It is, hey, we need to have the funds to be and compete, because the American Conference is a top 10 basketball conference. You're dealing with teams that have over $2 million this next year. They will. It's just what it is, and that's good. That's a good thing because that makes our conference stronger. So with whatever money we are fortunate and allocated to have, what we have to do is be really smart, really meticulous, and bring the best players for ECU with that amount. And that's what we're going to continue to do, and we felt like we did a really good job of that this past season.
Jay, also Trevi and Jordan have, per the NIL, committed to come back. And, when you look at that, that's obviously a great nucleus from which to build from. I know there's some others that will be back as well. There's some that have entered the portal. Some have already found a landing spot. I mean, great for them. I know we want what's best for kids, and if they came through ECU, they're an ECU alum, whether they graduated or not. So when you look at that core, and I don't know how much you can speak about this. I guess you can since they are part of the roster. Having those core three guys back, especially one, thanks to the NIL and Team Boneyard, but two, that is a good place from which to build from.
100%. I couldn't be more excited about the guys that are returning, Patrick. To be honest with you, and if you look at our time here in the 3 years, we have been able to keep our leading scorer every year returning. And obviously, whether it was Brandon and RJ the first year, Javon goes to Oklahoma State, then he goes to West Virginia. Javon will be an NBA player this June. He'll get drafted. But he played only through our second or third conference game because he got hurt. And so we were able to retain RJ and Brandon that first year before NIL was even a thing. Ezra came back after that first year. Obviously, after last year, Ezra and Brandon go to Miami, but we retained RJ. And that was a big thing for us in terms of RJ staying and the other players that stayed. Cam Hayes stayed. Sir Malonga stayed. So when you look at the course and you talk about some of the teams in this conference that are losing 8, 9, 10 guys, I mean, there's a team in our conference right now that I think is down to one player coming back, and he is a incoming guy. So we have actually been able to, even prior to NIL and Team Boneyard, retain the guys that we felt were really important building blocks for the following season. And you know what? This year is no different. And what this year, obviously, with Team Boneyard and the new influx of that, but I truly believe that Jordan Riley, Jay Woodard, Trevi LeBeau, Reed Kaysen, Tybo Bailey, Grant Smith, these guys truly love their experience playing in this program and their experience at ECU. And that's still, yes, this has become very professionalized. And yes, the money is very important, as we know, and that's just the truth about it. But they're still student athletes. This is still college basketball, and their experience, their development on and off the court as players, off the court as young men, their experience socially, those things still matter at East Carolina. And so those 6 guys that have, some have publicly announced, but those 6 guys returning, that means a ton to our program, because what we've done is we have a culture here where our guys want to come back and they want to play in this program. They want to play for this coaching staff. They feel like they're getting better. They're developing. They're competing. They're getting an education. And I'm going to keep that still at the forefront, along with, obviously, the financial component of it, because that's what it has become. But that's a big deal to continue to retain, and retaining those, 4 that you mentioned, but also Grant and Tybo. That's a big deal, because you know what? If you look at right now, it might be close to 2,000 kids already in the portal, and a lot of teams are losing their top players. They're losing. We, in essence, are returning 3 starters. Jay Woodard started. Trevi LeBeau obviously started a lot, and Jordan Riley started every game. There's not a lot of teams that can say that, and so I'm very thankful for Team Boneyard for that, but also this coaching staff, this community, Ryan Robinson, John Gilbert, the athletic department, and ECU as a whole, because you know what? Those guys love being at ECU, and they love being a part of this program. And so even beyond the money.
Mike, I know we've taken a lot of your time here. I have a couple more things I want to hit you with here, if you got a second. When you look at roster construction, we've talked about the financials of it and where the game is, but I mean, just let's get it down now to, all politics being local, and that's what, a lot of people listening to this show this afternoon are most concerned about. What will the roster look like next year? As far as just needs, let's just talk needs and maybe things that you covet to be able to build on this season, and also play a style that I think we got a taste of this year that you feel like can be played at ECU. What are the things that you most, are kind of the top desires for you as far as building the roster for next year?
Point guard play, size, and front court overall shooting. So when you look at that, basically what we're saying is we are going to add size to this roster, and, significantly. We're going to add size in the front court. We know, obviously, through graduation, what we've lost in terms of scoring. But you and I talked about it all year, and I knew this during the middle of the season. We will add shooting, perimeter shooting, consistent perimeter shooting. That is probably the number one goal of our coaching staff as we construct this roster and roster management moving forward. And point guard play, in terms of we have to go out and we will bring in a point guard that I know Pirate Nation is excited about. Now, again, it's impossible to talk about details. There's so much. This is so early in the process. But to generally answer your question for us as we want to take the next step, point guard play, legitimate size, and shooting across the board. And that doesn't just mean shooting at the guard spot. If we go out, I'm not saying that we go out and get a 5, a true center. He doesn't need to be able to stretch the court and shoot the 3. But most other positions that we go out and get will be able to do that.
Right, yeah. Mike, Memphis makes the NCAA tournament. Then you had a bevy of teams make the postseason. Tulane out in Vegas with the Crown. You had a bunch of teams in the NIT, including Wichita State, a team that you had a better conference record than, a better overall record than, and had beaten this season. I know this is a bit of a loaded question for a lot of reasons. But when you look at that, I know there was supreme disappointment from a lot of Pirate basketball fans that couldn't, rationalize, okay, Wichita State gets in, but ECU was the better team in the standings, beat them, et cetera. How deep did discussions get? How does that process work? And, I mean, to me, that's one of the next steps is how do you get to where you're a postseason, a legitimate postseason team as far as being able to play in the postseason.
Yeah. Well, again, without getting too deep into it, yes, absolutely. Very upset and still think about it. And you know what? And I won't stop thinking about it because our players wanted to continue to play when the season ended. They wanted to continue to compete for wins in a championship and keep it going as long as possible. That was a hungry team, hungry coaching staff in March, and that's a good thing. That's a good sign because there's many teams that throw the towel in well before March, let alone after a tough loss after we won our first round game versus UTSA and then, battled back to cut it to 7 with 3 minutes left versus UAB in the quarterfinals and lost. That team wanted to continue to play. We did have the opportunity to be in the CBI, but that was not something that came to fruition. It's a little bit of a different tournament. There's a real financial component, and there are in some of the others, but that was something that wasn't maybe at the best interest of the program for this season, and that's okay. That's just the reality. But we did have an opportunity to go compete for a championship in that one. That was something all the way through Sunday at 4:00 that the CBI was constantly trying to get us to commit to being it. And just, again, not to get too deep into it, but obviously we did not accept that invitation.
Right, yeah.
The NIT is the one that obviously we are disappointed about. We felt like we were right there. And you know what? Metrically, maybe I see why it didn't happen. But here's what I'd say. 5 years ago or some time ago, we would have probably got in over them because there was different criteria. Criteria has really changed because metrics has started to take over so much. And I'm going to be honest with you, Patrick, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of it. It's what it is. It's like what I said.
Right.
You got to embrace it. You got to put 2 feet down and say, hey, okay, we're going to make our schedule as such. So metrically, we can be there. But for example, there was at one point you could not make the NIT if you had a losing conference record. You could not.
Yeah.
That was a disqualifier. Well, Wichita State was below 500 in the conference. I mean, we were 10-8, they were 8-10. So regardless of our single matchup head-to-head, regardless of that, it just 10-8 with 19 wins before some of these new metric-based things became everything with the NIT, we probably would have got the nod there. But again, you can't cry over spilled milk. It's what it is. But from a standpoint of being upset about not continuing to play, in the NIT, and we are, and our players were, and our coaching staff is.
Mike, let me ask you this, because, again, I have a few things I want to touch on, and again, I appreciate your time here. But just to clarify, there's cost that is absorbed with going to the CBI. And now it's at a singular location now, so that helps. But there's still cost. You have to kind of pay the freight, so to speak. With the NIT, what are the costs? What are the costs that maybe the program would absorb? I'm just curious about this because I don't know.
That's a great question. That's a great question. No. If you go on the road, you have your travel like you would for a road trip, which obviously that is. But so if you had a road trip, you got hotel, you got the flight, potentially a bus, depending where it is. And if you have a home game, you have what it would be, to host a game. So it really that's more traditional. You play on campus sites. So that's where that cost would be. And I don't think, people that do turn down the NIT, I don't think it's because of the cost. I can't speak of it because I've never been in that situation. I think anybody that turns down the NIT, like from what I understand, LSU and South Carolina turned down the NIT because the NIT had a thing with the next 2 teams in the SEC that don't make the NCAA tournament would get invites to the NIT. Well, every team but 2 made the NCAA tournament from the SEC. Right. So South Carolina and LSU got invites, but they declined them, reportedly. So, again, the cost of the NIT is just what a normal travel or to host a home game if you, were fortunate enough to be selected in that tournament and to either host or travel. I just know that winning record, overall winning record, winning conference record used to be staples for making NCAA tournament NIT. You could not if you didn't have those things. And I think analytics has gone so deep down a rabbit hole right now that you're almost penalized more for winning conference games close. We were 5-1 in conference. The Kansas City Chiefs, when they won every game by one possession throughout the year, that doesn't hurt their ability to have a chance to go win. You win the game. The name of the game is win the game. The name of the game is to find a way. And if you're a team that wins close games, if you're a team that can win in overtime, that's a good thing. You are now penalized for winning close games now. And almost if you lose a game to a highly rated team, even if you lose, you actually go up versus winning a game by 5 or 6 points or winning an overtime game versus a team that is maybe at the same level or maybe just a little better or just a little lower. You may actually go down in the metrics. So it really has become backwards, in my opinion.
It's all. I mean, you can play whoever you want. At some point, you got to win games. I mean, wins have to count at some point, but that's a whole other story for another time. And maybe over the summer we'll get you on to let you soapbox on that a little. With the schedule next year, is there anything right now that you can formally announce or feel comfortable in announcing?
Well, I know. Well, yeah, I know we'll be playing. I know we will 100% be playing at UNC Wilmington. That's a game that we know we don't have a date set on that. And I think I've spoken about it. So, there's plans for us to play at North Carolina. Again, nothing has been finalized, but I have no problem saying that. I talked about it on the radio show with you. So, yeah, those are the two games, but we are in some heavy discussions with a lot of teams, tournaments. Actually, it's funny, back to your very first question, that's one of the things I do most out here. I've met with 2 or 3 people about scheduling, whether it be coaches or people that put on events, because this is where you can actually get face-to-face and get stuff done in terms of talking about scheduling moving forward. But UNC Wilmington and North Carolina will be on the docket next year, and obviously 2 extremely challenging games, both on the road. But as we continue to build an exciting schedule, we're looking forward to that.
And with UNC Dub, again, I don't want to tell tales outside of school, but this is an extension of the past agreement. So I know you are an advocate of, hey, let's do it home and home. Is that the extension, a 2-game extension, home and home?
Yeah, no, actually what it was we had the 2-for-1. We had that deal. We did it. We completed it last year. And now we will start a new, and I can't remember, honestly, to be quite honest, if it was a 4-year or a 6-year deal.
Okay.
But this home and home will continue for a while. Yes, we're just starting in Wilmington.
I think it's a game that should be played every year. So I'm glad you're playing it, Coach. I really am, because I think fans like
program,
it.
Great program, great fan base, great basketball tradition and history there. And Coach Siddle has done, obviously, a fantastic job. And so, yeah, it's a great game for in-state game and a great game for both programs.
My brother went to UNCW. I have a lot of friends at UNCW, but I'm looking forward next year when we kick their butt down in Trask. I'm not Schwartz didn't say that. Johnson said it. Just so you know. All right, last thing here. CJ obviously, I think, put himself in a position to make some money, be it overseas, be it wherever, G League, however, for CJ Walker. He's put himself in that position by coming here and taking advantage of the opportunity. With RJ, came back, got better each year. If you looked at RJ's numbers and think back to when he was here in his first year and to where he's finished his career, I mean, he's all over the record books. He has helped himself. And, I mean, here's a kid from a little town in South Carolina who now has an opportunity with just based on his athleticism to get a domestic pro look. But obviously, and this is nothing to turn your nose up at. You can make good money going overseas. And I know a lot of guys have made a good living. RJ's got to hit the corner 3. If you can hit the corner 3 overseas, you'll play there for 20 years. But when you look at that, mainly RJ's career, because he could have. There's been many occasions he could have left. He could have gone somewhere else.
Yeah, again, and that goes back to what we talked about, the retention, and I think it just speaks volumes about, Greenville, this community, Pirate Nation, ECU, and our basketball program, that those guys wanted to come back. They were excited to come back, and you're right, he could have multiple times. He could have. And he bought in back in March of 22 in terms of what our vision was, what we wanted to do, with him as a young man, and then player development. We talk about his statistics going like they did. You look at what Javon Small did from his first year to the first half plus of the season we had him. Brandon Johnson, R.J. Felton. And then you look at R.J.'s growth year to year, Brandon's growth year to year, and then he left. And you look at C.J. Walker from not being in our program to being in our program. I think that player development aspect, the continual growth of fundamentals, skill development that we really is at the core of our program, and it's one of the things throughout recruiting that is a real big piece for us. I think that really played into effect with RJ. And obviously now you look at the other side, his loyalty, who he is as a person. I've often said that about RJ. As good of a player as he is, he's even a better person. And you think about that with his family and his mom and dad and the foundation he has. But all of that combined, Patrick, makes for a special situation for someone to stay 4 years. But those improvement of statistics, as you said, that consistent growth, professional leagues see that. They see him getting better and better, which tells them this: he works, he listens, he's coachable. Guys that don't work and aren't coachable, they're not going to improve year to year consistently every category like he did. And that's why a guy like C.J. Walker has put himself on the map right now. He came in, I've said it many times throughout the year, his coachability, his humility allowed us to coach him, and you look what it did for him just from a statistical standpoint, let alone team success standpoint, and how important he was for the team. So all of those things are going to allow both guys, as you said, to give themselves a shot, whether it be going to the Portsmouth Invitational, whether it be, I know CJ's trying to get in the NBA Combine, whether it be G League, Summer League, or to have a healthy opportunity overseas. And I think that's what this is about, Patrick, helping these guys achieve what their goals and dreams are. And there's no doubt both of them are hungry to do it. And you know what? It also is great for ECU. I mean, C.J. Walker was invited to be in the college slam dunk contest here that's on ESPN. I believe it's tonight. And he decided not to do it because he's training. But ESPN was going to fly him out here, was going to put him up for the night. He was going to be in the contest and then fly him back tomorrow, back to in terms of back to Greenville. But he's just training. He is in a train mode right now, getting ready for the next step. So he decided not to do it. But again, those are great. Those are great opportunities, and that's great exposure for them and for ECU basketball.
Probably would have won it, and I think Jordan will have a chance to participate in it next year if he chooses to, and he probably would win it because those two are really impressive. And I'm not so sure RJ wouldn't have won it.
Maybe I'll go down there and put my shorts on tonight, and I'll do it.
I think you still have
maybe
hops.
I'll get in there.
I think you said you got a YMCA game, Coach Schwartz. We know that. All right, Mike, I've kept you too long. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I love working with you, and we're here. And if there's anything you need ever, let us know.
I appreciate you, PJ. You're the best, man. Have a great one.
All right. Thank you, man. Take care. Good stuff with Mike Schwartz there. A little bit of news broken today on the Patrick Johnson Show, Pilk. The fact that ECU is going to play North Carolina next year in Chapel Hill, and that ECU will play UNCW, an extension of that series. So there you go. How about that? Little breaking news for you.
He never said in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, well, I might be telling the other part of that.
They could be coming to Greenville.
Story.
The Tar Heels in Greenville. Oh my goodness.
Pill. I love you, but they ain't coming to. No, there'd be a rebellion before they would come. We have a better chance of playing them in the gym at Wilson Fike and calling that neutral than we would them coming that far east. All right. I know we're way over here. Let's do a 4-minute break here. We'll come back with your update and then another break, and then we'll just kind of come back and see where we are and get you ready for the weekend.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed, meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds, or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Are you in need of a new doctor? Right now, for a limited time, Dr. Billy Smith is accepting new patients in his new office in Greenville at Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine. The new office is right across Stantonsburg Road from ECU Medical Center. Dr. Smith has been practicing in the Greenville area for years. He is board certified in physical medicine, lifestyle medicine, and has a passion for the people of Eastern North Carolina. Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine specializes in helping patients with weight loss, diabetes, high cholesterol, blood pressure management, among many other medical conditions. And Dr. Smith is working with a local pharmacy to provide more affordable medication if insurance denies your prescription for brand name meds. Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine will guide your journey to live longer and live stronger. New patients are being accepted now for a limited time. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
We are riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, let's go to Philip the Rep Pilkington now. A 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate report.
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, it was a good night on the diamond last night for the baseball team. They defeated Elon 7-4 to win their fifth straight contest. Also, it was a good night on the softball diamond as they knocked off Norfolk State by a final score of 6-2. Looking at the women's basketball transfer portal, according to On3, Chloe Miller, Journey McDaniel, Jade Tillman, Devin Hageman, and Kaya Miller have all entered the transfer portal. Bobby Smith and Jayla Herp have announced they plan to return to the Pirates next year. Looking elsewhere in sports right now in the NFL, as we speak, there is some big news coming as it comes to free agents. Trey McBride is now the highest paid tight end in the NFL. The Cardinals have signed him to an extension, 4 years, $76 million, so he'll be making $19 million a year. That is $2 million more than Taylor's boyfriend, Travis Kelce. And going elsewhere, the Las Vegas Raiders are overpaying big time for Geno Smith. They have given him a 2-year max contract that will have him making roughly $45 million per year. Also, there was a trade earlier today as it relates to quarterbacks, as the Patriots are sending Joe Milton and a 7th-round pick to Dallas for a 5th-round pick. And now we'll toss it back to Patrick. What's up, Patrick?
Well, it was a little news and comment. That's all I was going to say. A little news and comment on your part there. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was it. There. They're overpaying.
They're overpaying for Geno. That's what's happening. But that'll do it for our 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We're going to take a timeout and be back with the Patrick Johnson Show. More of the Patrick Johnson Show on the other side.
Turn your car into cash with an instant Kelly Blue Book offer from Barbara Hendrick Honda in Greenville. Go online to BarbaraHendrickHonda.com to value your trade, explore inventory, and apply for financing, all from the comfort of home. At Barbara Hendrick Honda, we have great deals on new inventory and an extensive used inventory that includes all makes and models. Schedule service for your vehicle online and take advantage of our monthly specials. Barbara Hendrick Honda, a proud member of the Eastern North Carolina community at the point of Greenville Boulevard and Memorial Drive.
Certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Drive in front of Academy Sports. What sets Jaggers apart? Well, everything. And I mean everything is made from scratch. Burgers, chicken, and salads like you've never tasted. Shoestring fries, too. So what are you excited to try? Hey, it's a fun environment. You just have to see for yourself. And if you haven't been to Jaggers, come on by and taste it for yourself. Nothing is prepackaged. You're gonna love Jaggers. Now open on Memorial Drive in front of Academy Sports.
Anson Belt & Buckle offers a micro-adjustable, holeless belt, giving you the perfect fit every time. As an ECU alumni-owned business since 2009, Anson Belt is proud to be the official belt of East Carolina Athletics. Looking for a new belt for yourself or a special pirate? Visit AnsonBelt.com to see why over 30,000 customers have given their Anson Belt a 5-star review. With dozens of materials to choose from and thousands of possible combinations, you'll find the belt for every occasion, especially game day, at AnsonBelt.com.
And now,
The stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
All right. Great conversation with Mike Schwartz. A couple things, again, to take out of that. Pirates are in discussions, pretty deep discussions, to play at North Carolina next year, or play North Carolina next year. You're right, Pilkey didn't say where, but I think from what I understand, it's going to be a game at UNC. And then the opportunity to return the series or resume the series more appropriately with UNCW. And look, I don't mind going down to Wilmington. I think it's that's a good thing to go down there. It's a hostile environment. You're going to have to win tough games if you're going to take the program to the next level, and that's a tough place to play. I'd like to see them play it early on. I'd love to see that as a Friday night early in the season. And I don't hate the idea of even opening with it if you did it like that, or maybe that after the opener on that Tuesday, do it play on Friday or play Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I like it. The big thing is that gets you ready for conference play when you go to a place like that, because that's a basketball school. You know, that is like an A-10 atmosphere there because they don't have football.
Right.
And I'm with you.
And
yeah, I'm good playing it early. I'm not opposed to playing it that first Tuesday night, but yeah, if not, play it Friday night. I don't think college basketball should be allowed to be played on Sunday during NFL season, but.
Well, I'm just saying play it sometime where you stand to draw a crowd.
Yeah.
You know, and that Tuesday you might, with people being amped up, probably you would. But play it at a time where the average fan can get to it easily. I think maybe that first Friday would be great.
Yeah.
Opening night would be fine.
People are amped for first game.
True.
Especially down there where they don't have football.
The other part I took from that is apparently the CBI wanted ECU to participate, and just financially it couldn't be worked out. That's how I kind of interpreted all that.
Yeah, it's kind of what it sounds like. I didn't even know we were allowed to go to the CBI anymore. I thought we were kind of banned from these tournaments due to being a big conference.
I think we got a new sheriff in town as far as the conference and the commissioner goes. I think Tim is the exposure's good.
Made him an offer they couldn't refuse.
What level. No, I just think he, unlike the rest of the conference, I think the prior regime, and I like Mike Oresco. You know, I don't think it's a positive for the league to have as many people playing postseason basketball, as many teams playing postseason basketball as you possibly can.
Oh, for sure.
And so if that's, I mean, this thing out in Vegas, the Crown, I'm a basketball nerd, so I kind of enjoyed it. But, you know, I mean, it's a little bit of a wonky deal. Fox, I'm sure, is taking a bath for organizing it.
Yeah, I've heard they're like paying the players, right? Like there's like NIL opportunities.
That's the thing. You get NIL opportunities out of it. But I mean, to me, I think that there's a real chance. Excuse me, that you know, that it's a pretty. I've not heard anything negative about it. It's a pretty first class deal, is what I've kind of been indicated. But you get to go to Vegas for a week, so I mean, what could be so wrong with that? So you've got that event going on, which we had a Tulane in. Now Tulane got their doors blown off. You got the NIT, which had, 4 teams?
Wichita, UAB, North Texas, UAB, and
Wichita.
I feel like there might have been another. Maybe it was just those 3. Yeah, because we'd have been the next team.
So then you put 5 essentially in the postseason, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing. I'm sure there was one other one that was in there we're overlooking, whoever finished 5th. But, yeah, to me, those are all positive.
Oh, FAU finished 5th. Would it have been FAU? Did they play in it?
I think FAU was in there, yeah.
I think they were, yeah.
I feel certain that they were. So, I mean, if you go to the NIT, great. Maybe when you're setting aside the budget next year, you're planning, okay, what would it cost for us to go to Vegas? What would it cost for us to go to Daytona, to the CBA? What would it cost for us to host a couple games in the NIT, potentially?
Speaking of NIT, Patrick.
I know the goal is obviously to go to the NCAA. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I just think in the league you're going to have to get really, really hot and win the tournament for it to be a 2-bid league in the short term.
I agree. Is it just me, or is it weird watching the NIT semifinals the other night and them not being in Madison Square Garden? Like, isn't this supposed to have always been in Madison Square Garden?
I don't understand that move. I don't like Hinkle. It didn't look good.
No,
the Garden,
like
even
Butler
if there's a bunch
Stadium,
of empties in the Garden, it's still the Garden.
Yeah, it's weird. And probably just, I know it's hard to schedule. I mean, you got hockey, you got the NBA.
Well, no.
But still, come on, man. The NIT is supposed to be played at the Garden. Always played at the Garden.
By the way, thanks to Mike Schwartz today. I'll be out tomorrow. I've got Carolina Duke softball for the ACC Network Extra, so Pilk's going to do the show so I can get out of town and do that. You'll have Coach O on tomorrow, so looking forward to that. I'll give you my 2 semifinal picks, national semifinal picks. I'll take Duke, and I will take the Gators to meet on Monday night, and then we'll see from there, and I'll give you the winner at that time. All right. Catch you in the morning on Talk of the Town. Back tomorrow on ACC Network Extra at 6 for softball, and then Pirate Baseball at 4 on ESPN Plus on Saturday. ESPN Plus Pirate Softball on Sunday at noon. All right, have a great rest of your evening, everybody.
Hey there, Eastern North Carolina. Jeff Stein at Brown & Wood. We have the